So, Hare Krishna. So, we'll before starting the class, we'll have the Ilobu sing the bhajan, Guru bhajan. So, I'm just going to get this. Okay, Hare Krishna, Damodar Das. You can go ahead and sing the bhajan.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Gurudeva Mama Gurudeva Gurudeva Mama Gurudeva Deva Mama Gurudeva Mama Gurudeva Mama Gurudeva Gurudeva Mama Gurudeva Mama Gurudeva Mama Gurudeva Adita Pavana Gurudeva Padam Sharanam Gurudeva Adita Pavana Gurudeva Padam Sharanam Gurudeva Gurudeva Mama Gurudeva Gurudeva Mama Gurudeva Gurudeva Mama Gurudeva Gurudeva Mama Gurudeva Bolo bolo kabate Gurudeva Krishna Padana Gurudeva Bolo kabate Gurudeva Krishna Padana Gurudeva Aruna Sandara Gurudeva Pada Charanam Gurudeva Aruna Sandara Gurudeva Padam Charanam Gurudeva Gurudeva Mama 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 Gurudeva Radhe Krishna Gurudeva Bhakta Padava Gurudeva Radhe Krishna Gurudeva Bhakta Padava Gurudeva Guru Parama Dayalale Gurudeva Pada Saranam Gurudeva Dayalale Gurudeva Pada Saranam Gurudeva Guru Gurudeva Mama Gurudeva 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 Amrita Gurudeva Ananda Rupa me Gurudeva Hare Gurudeva Ananda Rupa me Gurudeva Prema Rasita Gurudeva Padam Charanam Gurudeva Prema Gurudeva Jai Gurudeva Jai Gurudeva Jai Gurudeva Gurudeva Jai Srila Gurudeva ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Yeah. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Damodar Das, and the Ilobu temple devotees. So we'll start. Not sure if India is here, like Radha Premadasi, doesn't seem like it. So I don't know if Badagiri Temple, Haripriya, would you like to sing this Jaya Radha Madhava?
Yes, Mother. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So if you can.
Okay, sorry, our video is broken because of the camera, but I can still sing, right?
Yeah.
We can sing.
Yes.
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Janavalabha Girivaradari Jaya Gopi Janavalabha Girivaradari Yashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Mother.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. So we'll start the Harikatha. So before I start, I would like to offer my obeisances. Om Anjana Timirandasya Jnana Anjana Shalakaya Chakshurum Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Bhaktya Vihina Aparadalakshe Kshiptascha Kamadhitaranga Madhye Kripamai Tvam Sharanam Prapatye Vrinte Namaste Charanaravindam. Gurave Gaurachandraya Radhikaye Tadalaya Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadbhaktaya Namo Namaha. I offer my Koti Koti Dandavat Pranams at the lotus feet of my Guruji, Om Shri Bhaktivedanta Bhagavati Kanta Dasa Maharaj, and then Dandavat Pranams to all the assembled Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis. So last week we talked about one part of the shloka of Manmana Bhava Madbhakto. So how to give our mind, heart, and how Vraja, the newlywed Vraja girl, gave her mind and heart to Krishna. And also we talked about how to control our senses by Guru Padashraya, and then also from mercy of Vaishnavas and Sadhu Sangha, how to serve Bhagavan. And we talked about the Uttama Bhakti, which is the Anyabhilashita Shunyam. That the endeavors that we should do favorable to Krishna without any tinge of jnana or karma. And in order to get that bhava bhakti, we need to serve his pure devotees and always remain in sadhu sangha, and one should not have any material desires, not even a cent of it, or any impersonal knowledge, or trying to gain any impersonal knowledge. And all the activities should be for pleasure of Bhagavan. So, how to become a devotee? I just wanted to tell some few examples today, and then their history of how they have become that highest devotee. So the first one I would like to talk is one of the Bhava Bhakta, who is the Bilva Mangala Thakur. So Bilva Mangala Thakur, he is one of the considered as a Bhava Bhakta. He's the Bhava Bhakta, and he had accumulated so much of Sukruti from his previous lives, and still when he came to this world, he had some material desires of material enjoyment still remained in his heart. So he kept a company with a prostitute whose name was Chintamani, and he tried to meet her all the time, even though there are many difficulties, dangers. So one night, which was like really stormy night, and it was like raining, and then it was so dark, but still, in order to meet her, because of that material desire, he crossed that flooded river to get to her place on the other side of the river bank. And in order to cross that river, he actually thought that there was a log, and then he caught hold of that log and then crossed the river bank. But it wasn't a log, actually it was a floating corpse that he caught hold. But with his material desires, his mind full of material desires, he wasn't even seeing what he caught hold of in order to cross the river bank. Get to the other side of the river. And he went to the house of that prostitute, the Chintamani's house, and he was trying to climb to get to her window, and then he caught hold of what he thought was a wine, and then got up to her room, but instead it was later found out that it was a deadly snake that he was not able to see in that dark night. And then he somehow got into her room, and then when Chintamani saw him, she actually was a great devotee. And then when she saw him in that stormy night, taking all these, crossing all these difficulties and came to see her, she was like really angry, and she rejected and rebuked him. And she said that, if you have the same desire towards the lotus feet of Krishna, then you would, like same desire as what he was having the desire to see her. Instead, if he has the same desire towards Krishna, he would at once reach Krishna's lotus feet. So since that time, he considered Chintamani as his guru. And at once his mind, he got that enlightenment that she showed that spiritual path, and that's why he considered her as his guru. And after that, he renounced everything and had a great desire to meet Krishna. So he left home and began heading towards Vrindavan. And maybe a few days after, on his way to Vrindavan, he was like feeling thirsty. So he saw a well where one of the young girl was like pulling water from the well. And then he forgot about drinking water, and he started staring at her, because still there was some material desire. So anyway, he took some water from her, and then the girl who was like gave water, she filled her pot and was like going towards her house. And after she went to the house, Bilvamangal Thakur, he followed her. And then when he came to that door of the house, he saw a Brahmana, and he asked, where is that girl who just carried the pot of water? Yeah, she went inside, and then she's my wife. So then Bilvamangal Thakur asked that person, the Brahmana, to call her. And then he called, and then she came. And then Bilvamangal Thakur said, looking at her, can you give me, she had like a hairpin. So can you give me the hairpin of yours? And then they both, the Brahmana and the girl, thought that maybe he's like a mendicant, and he may have a thorn in his foot, and maybe he wants to take it out. So she gave that hairpin, and then what he did was, after taking that hairpin, he just pricked into his eyes, so that he just want to be blind, because with that sense, because the eyes are also serving as sense for him for the material desire, so he just wanted to get rid of that. So he plucked out his eyes, and then he started his way towards Vrindavan. So now he became blind and tried going towards Vrindavan, and he was like in such a mood of deep separation from Krishna that now all his senses are like blinded, and all the senses were actually, inner senses were centered on Krishna. And on the way, there were like many obstacles. Obviously he's blind, so he couldn't see what is like, there are like mud holes or what's going on. But he was determined to reach Vrindavan. And he meditated deeply on Krishna as he made his way towards Vrindavan. And then one day, a young boy came to him and said, Baba, where are you going? And just hearing that voice, he was so pleased, and he felt so happy. And then he replied, my son, I'm going to Vrindavan. And Bilvamangal Thakur asked, where are you going? So that boy said, I'm also going to Vrindavan, and I make my living there. So I can take you there, so you can hold my stick, my walking stick, and then I can take you to Vrindavan. So they both went together to Vrindavan. Finally, he arrived Bilvamangal Thakur arrived at Vrindavan. On his way, inside his heart, he experienced so many realizations about Krishna, and that they were like a nectar. During his journey also, he composed many of the poems that many, and he was singing so many songs, enchanting songs of Krishna, about love for Krishna. And so the Krishna himself, he came because he wanted to listen to that so beautiful songs filled with nectar. And one of the book that Bilvamangal Thakur that he wrote is like Krishna Karnamrita, and those are like beautiful bhajans full of nectar. And so from this story we take as like, once we become Krishna devotee and you have full faith in Krishna, he will take care of us. So another story that I would like to tell, and it is like, which has happened for real, which are in the scriptures, that Krishna, example of Krishna personally caring his devotees. So there was a Brahmana and his wife who were like devotees of Krishna, and this Brahmana used to read many scriptures and many commentaries on Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. And he and his wife had no material desires. He always would beg maybe for an hour a day, and rest of the time he would study the scriptures, hear and chant Krishna's holy names, and then glories and pastimes. So they were like so poor, and they just survived on the alms what they got every day. So one day, before going out, that Brahmana was writing down the meaning of one of the Gita verses. And he came upon this verse, like while he was writing one after the other, he came on this verse, Ananya Chintayo Mam Ye Jana Paryupasate Tesham Nityabhiyuktanam Yogakshemam Vahamyaham. So in this one, it is saying that those who always worship me with exclusive devotion and meditating on my transcendental form, to them I carry what they lack and I preserve what they have. So, for those minds who are fully self-controlled and have no other object of meditation besides Krishna, ye jana paryupasate. So one who worships Krishna in all ways, especially by the medium of hearing, chanting, then tesham nitya biyuktanam. For those who are fixed in performing bhajana for the happiness of Krishna, and it is not for themselves, solely for Krishna, then even if a person of bad conduct engages in this type of exclusive bhajana, just making Krishna happy and favorable for Krishna, whatever you do favorable for Krishna, then Krishna will also accept him. To those who have exclusively taken shelter of Krishna, he is the protector, he is the sole protector and maintainer. So this Brahmana, like when he was like seeing this shloka, he came to the last line, Yogakshemam Vahamyaham. So in this one, Krishna is saying that for his devotees who engage in bhajana in this way, he will supply all the requirements like food, water, or even collect them and carry them himself. That's what it meant, the last line. So the Brahmana was thinking, how can this be? This is not right. I can't imagine Krishna doing this for a devotee. How can Krishna will carry what we require on his own body? So maybe he could inspire other people to come and help that poor devotee, but he couldn't carry this load. So he was like thinking, maybe this is all false. Somebody might have written this, just like, not thinking the meaning right, and they just wrote it like that. So he somehow was not able to accept that. So he took a red pen and scratched that verse out, thinking that it is not possible for Krishna to have spoken this verse. So then after that, he went out to beg for alms. And while he went out, he went door to door. But on that day, for some reason, he couldn't get any bhiksha. So everywhere he went, it was the same. So he started coming home empty-handed. And meanwhile, at his home, a beautiful young boy with a dark complexion, wearing yellow cloth, arrived at the door of that Brahmana's house, carrying a long stick with on his shoulders, with like two bags hanging, one like with different goods, like rice and dal and ghee and all these things. So, and then he was like so thin and was not strong enough to carry all this load. And maybe he was like a small boy, maybe 12 or 14 years. And then he was like really sweating, and he came at the door and was knocking at the door and calling, "Oh mother, oh wife of my guru, please open the door." And then the Brahmana's wife replied from inside, like, my husband have no disciples. So who are you? Then the boy replied, no, I am the disciple of your husband. Then she was like thinking, what is this? He never had any disciples. Where did he come from? But at the same time, she was like unable to open the door because they were so poor that she didn't even have enough clothing even to cover her properly. So realizing this, the boy gave obviously he's Krishna, so he gave a cloth to her, and then after wrapping it around, she opened the door. And then the boy said, like, mother, Guruji has sent me, and we have obtained all these in the alms, like as alms. And he put all these things, and he asked me to take it to the house. And he didn't even allow me to even like have some water or have some rest. He was like in a hurry to get all this to the home. And hearing this, and also he said like, see, really, he was like in a hurry, that he was like putting all these things on my shoulder, and he scratched me at the back. And then hearing this, the Brahmana wife was like, began to weep, and she was like thinking, he's so tender and he's sweating, and doesn't my husband have any mercy? And he's coming empty-handed. He will come empty-handed because he sent all these with this boy. And then her heart melted. She took that boy in her lap and then put some butter on that scratches. And then she said, like, sit here, I'll prepare some food, offer to the deities, and then I'll give the prasadam to you. And while she was preparing, she heard the knock on the door, and then she went and then opened the door, and she saw that it's her husband, who the brahmana. And then she asked, have you brought anything? You just came empty-handed, because you have loaded so many things to this poor boy, and then you even scratched him. And the brahmana replied, like, what are you talking about? I didn't get any alms today. I didn't get any bhiksha today. And then how can you say that I have sent like so much of ingredients, like what I got from bhiksha with this boy? I don't know who this boy is. So then the wife said, like, okay, come inside and see for yourself, like, you got all these ingredients, and then you made this boy carry this. Then when they both went into the house, they searched the entire house, and they couldn't see that boy. All they could see is a piece of yellow cloth that had been sitting. And then the brahmana then realized something, and he immediately went inside and took the Gita and then opened that verse, and the one that he scratched, that verse has been, like, the scratch has been erased. Then he started to weep bitterly, because now he realized that that shloka, what was spoken by Krishna, is really true. And he thought that, like, how Bhagavan had personally carried his burden. So this is our evidence that Bhagavan do maintain us, do take care of the devotees who are fully surrendered. So, worshipping Krishna. So, how do we worship Shyamasundara? How are we going to get the vision of this beautiful Shyamasundara form? So, we have to be completely surrendered by our mind, body, words at the lotus feet of our spiritual master and Bhagavan. Then Krishna will reveal his most worshipable form. So, surrendering to a guru, as it's said in Gita, tadvidi pranipatena praniprashnena sevaya upadekshayanti tadjnanam jnaninas tattvadarshana. And we talked this shloka in the first, when we started Gita also, because it is important for us to approach the guru with these three tendencies: pranipatena, praniprashnena, sevaya, upadekshayanti tadjnanam. So submissive mood. And then inquiry in submissive mood, pariprashnena. And sincere service, that is sevaya, is the only qualification to understand this knowledge, this transcendental knowledge. And who is not surrendered to a guru and Vaishnavas, this essential knowledge of Bhagavad Gita will not be given. So, how a devotee, how a disciple surrenders to a guru, how much he surrenders, that's exactly he reciprocate in the same way. If you surrender 25%, he will give the knowledge of 25%. So that's exactly what this shloka says. So we have to completely surrender in order to get the complete knowledge, transcendental knowledge of knowing Krishna. And then Guru, he first makes the disciples develop faith, then firmly establish practice, that is sadhana. which follows awakening of transcendental taste, ruchi, then we can start thinking of this beautiful Shyamasundara form. So, initial stages, when we start chanting, all we get the Krishna's form is in fragments, or his pastimes in fragments. Then, as we continue chanting, then a deepening transcendental attachment, when we get to that level of bhava, at that point, one has truly become a devotee. And actually, at that time, we can begin to think Krishna and his pastimes as continuous, like Swarasiki. So, worshipping Shyamasundara in this way, thinking of this beautiful form, who has such a beautiful curly hair and whose head, the peacock feather, is always present. And he who is standing in threefold bending posture under a kadamba tree in the grove of Vrindavan. He who is holding the flute to his beautiful lips, with the nectar of his heart pouring out from the holes of the flute. So this is the form we should always think Krishna in this form. And when we are doing our chanting, this is what the form we should be thinking about. And here, there is one point we must understand, that Krishna is the enjoyer. But we should not be thinking, why is this offering for the pleasure of the Lord and not for our own happiness? So this shloka in Bhagavatam states, Srimad Bhagavatam Canto 1, Chapter 2 and Shloka 6 says, Savai pumsa paro dharma yato bhaktir adokshaje ahaituki apratihata yayayatma suprasidati. So the supreme dharma for the human society is the causeless and unbroken service of pure devotion towards Krishna. He is Adokshaja, the transcendental person, and he is none other than Krishna. And this devotion must be free of ulterior motives like jnana and karma, as we talked in the Uttama Bhakti shloka. And by this, our Atma gets happiness or the supreme bliss, that is yayayatma suprasidati. So when we serve Bhagavan, whatever we do for his pleasure, then our Atma will be the happiest. So we have to understand that if Bhagavan is pleased, then the individual devotee or whoever is, serving Krishna becomes satisfied. Krishna, he has so much mercy on his devotees. He's looking at us because we are suffering. And then he himself comes as different avatars at different times, like Narasimha Bhagavan, like Rama, in order to save us. He has so much of love for us, and he has so much mercy on the jivas. So I'll give an example, like, for example, suppose if we give some kind of sweet or anything to a child, he will not think anything, he just eat by himself because he just wants it. He looks like it's very tasty and he wants to eat. But at the same time, if that same thing is given to a mother of that child, what will she do? she will distribute the sweet to all the children. So this is exactly how Krishna and Guru are. So they don't keep it for themselves. They want everybody to get the same prema. So, and other example I would give is like, Yashoda Mata, like, about understanding the Uttama Bhakti. So, Mother Yashoda, she's punishing Krishna by, twisting his ear, and then he doesn't want to take him in her lap, even though he's crying. But Yashoda is doing this in a way that is favorable to Krishna. Even though Krishna is not happy, but she wants that her son shouldn't be like, naughty, and then she's trying to correct. But then, he's the Supreme Lord. But this is all being covered by Yogamaya, that Yashoda thinks that he's just my son. And at the same time, if you take like at the Kamsa's arena, Chanura and Mushtika, they were trying to fight and they wanted to kill Krishna. But Krishna there, he was happy because he wanted to taste that Veera Rasa. But that is not pure bhakti, because even though Krishna is happy, but they were trying to harm Krishna, which is not favorable for bhakti. So this is an example how to tell us as disciples and devotees that what is pure bhakti. Even if you are making temporarily Krishna happy, but you are not doing which is not favorable for Krishna, is not real bhakti. So we must understand that, whatever we do, we should be offering to Lord Krishna, so that if he gets happy, we all can be happy. I think I'll just do this one and then we can conclude. So this is another example that Srila Gurudev had mentioned in his Harikatha about like a true incident that happened in Mathura. So in this one, he said, Gurudev said that how we can see like we should have love and attachment for our worship and object of our worship, which is Lord Krishna. So there was a man in Mathura, Brahmana in Mathura, who was like worshipping a Salagram Shila, which is the deity form of Lord, and he didn't know all the mantras and how to like perform exactly the archana, how the steps of puja. But in an ordinary way, he was going on with his service. And his vow every day was by 4 o'clock in the morning, he should return home from bathing in river Yamuna, bring some Yamuna water and use it for archana and for applying his tilaka. So he would not use any other water other than Yamuna water. And with great faith, he performed this puja, Salagram puja, every day without any deviation for almost like 10 or 15 years. Then one night, it was like very stormy and it was like raining so heavily. The whole entire night it was raining. And then the water was like, it was flooding in Yamuna. But still, when the Brahmana, he woke up, he could not tell what exactly was the time. because in those days, like, usually they used to see the sky depending upon the stars. They used to see, like, what time is it. But thinking that it's early in the morning, he went to the bank of Yamuna. He took a bath in Yamuna. He collected water, and then he was like, trying to go on his way back home. But unfortunately it was so dark, and he kind of like lost his way because it was raining so heavily. He could not tell which way he is going. And then he was like thinking, how will I make it home by the time like 4 o'clock, because he has to do the archana by 4 o'clock. Then just then, while he was thinking, he saw a small boy coming towards him. And that boy, he covered his head with a bag so that he's not wet. And then he was carrying a lantern with him. And then in a very sweet voice, the boy said to that brahmana, "Oh Baba, where are you going?" So the man told him approximately the ballpark of his street where his house is. Then the boy said, "Oh, I'm going to the same place. I know that place. Come, I'll show you the way." And the man, he completely believed that boy. Obviously, there is nothing else to do. So, but anyway, he went off with that boy, and all along the man was like thinking, why has this young boy come out on a night like this? And then but he didn't say anything. He continued following that boy, and then he came to that intersection of his street. And then the boy said, "Baba, here is the street. Now your house is up there, and I'm going forward, and I have to go to the other place." And then the man, after after the boy left him, he started walking towards his house. And then he thought, and at the same time, he was like thinking, why this boy came to me. And then he just turned and looked back to see if the boy, which direction he's going. And then he couldn't see that boy or the light. So then he realized that it is none other than Krishna, because putting his hand on his head, he began to repent. See, just to protect my woe that I have to do the puja or archan by 4 o'clock, bringing this Yamuna water, Bhagavan came in this form, holding a lantern to show me the way. And this is the true worship. And this is how we should have, like, a firm determination with no consideration of our happiness or unhappiness, just firm determination of doing our sadhana to reach Krishna's lotus feet. And this is the real spiritual hunger. And if we perform puja with this hunger and with this prema, why will Lord Krishna will not accept it? So Krishna says, Prayayatmanu. So if anyone simply offers him something with faith and love, he will just accept it. All he wants is love, the prema that we give, that we have, that we need to give it to Bhagavan. Because Krishna is Atmaram, he's Satchitanand, he doesn't have anything, he doesn't need anything. All he needs is the devotee's prema. So I'm not sure, we have 10 more minutes. I don't know if you want me to continue or we can stop here. So maybe I can do this one, and then we can stop. So this is like it's a real a story that Srila Gurudev also said about this, like, how Krishna protects devotees, whatever it may be. So this is about a brahmana who just don't have any, like, devotion, but he was like performing deity worship in order to make his living. And then he used to go, like, house to house to perform puja, and then used to accept the whatever the donation that they give. And also he always used to get the dry, like rice, vegetables and things like that to get going. And he used to do only to the people, he used to do the worship for people who were able to give him some money, and then these ingredients, like, for him to take home. Otherwise he wouldn't do it. So one day it was like, it so happened like he has to go to town, and he asked his son that I'm going out to town, and then could you please take care of the deities, and then every day make an offering of food to the deities. So the boy said yes, even though he hadn't learned much about puja, but still he replied that I will do. And then later, while his mother, the next day, she prepared some chapatis and vegetables, and the boy, he bathed in the Ganges water, and then he bathed the deities with Ganges water, and put some tulasi leaves, and dressed them, and put him on the altar. And next he placed the offering, the food, before him, and placed a tulasi leaf on that preparation, and said, my lord, hey Krishna, please take your meal now. And I don't know all of the appropriate mantras, but please eat. I'll remain here, and then you can eat. And the boy stood for some time, and then nothing was happening. And then he said, like, oh Krishna, oh Thakurji, I've been standing here for nearly half an hour now, and looking at your plate, and I see that you still have not eaten. But when my father offers food, you eat with great delight, and within few minutes. But because I don't know any mantras, you're not eating. And if you don't eat, you will be hungry. And if you're hungry, then I'm hungry too, and I will not eat until you eat. So with great love and sincerity, he was like saying this to the Lord. So if this sentiment is not in our chanting of the mantra, then similarly our mantra will not be effective. So the mantra is meant to awaken the sentiment within us. And if we are serving the deity without this sentiment of, like, I want you to eat, or I want you to be happy, or I want to serve you, then how will he ever accept what we offer or what we pray? So after waiting a few moments, the boy said, like, if you don't eat, then I'll just go to sleep without eating. Then finally, Krishna could not no longer, like, restrain himself. So he came down from his altar, and then he started eating whatever that was offered, uh, and then he didn't leave anything whatsoever on the plate. So the boy was so pleased, and he took the empty plate back to the kitchen and said to his mother, Mother, Bhagavan has finished everything. He has eaten all the chapatis. And then the mother was like thinking, like, he ate, where is the chapati? I mean, he said like everything Bhagavan ate, so there is nothing. Then she was unable to believe. But then next day she did the same thing. Like she prepared the offerings and then gave it to the boy. And then boy did offer to Krishna in the same way, and he ate it all. And then she was not able to understand how this is happening. And then the next day the Brahmana came, and then the wife said about what has happened. And then Brahmana asked his boy, uh, oh, what has happened? So he said, like, whatever I offered, Lord has taken it, he has eaten it. Then Brahmana was like saying, like, probably, maybe, because he was not like really having that belief that deity is actually eating the prasad, the naivedyam. Then after some time the Brahmana called his son and said, like, maybe a rat must have taken the offerings, because usually in the big temples, you'll have the rats, and they may have eaten it. But then he said, like, no, I have seen Krishna eating it all. So then he said, like, okay, all right, tonight why don't you offer it, and then we'll see. And then that night, then the small boy, took the offering to Krishna, and then he was like standing there, and then saying that, oh Krishna, I brought this food for you, please take it, have it, please come quickly and take your meal. But on that day, Didi was like stayed in his own place, and he didn't move. So then the boy was like saying, why are you not eating today? What has happened? And then slow a small, like, soft voice came, and from the deity, and said that, today your father is watching from there, and therefore I will not come. Then the boy replied, like, why? You must come and eat because you are hungry, and if you don't eat, I will not be happy. Then Krishna, from the deity, this voice came and said, like, go over and simply touch your father. And the boy did the same thing of what was told. And as soon as the boy touched the father, the boy's pure spiritual sentiment arose within the heart of his father. And then the Brahmana could see how the Krishna was eating the offering. So the thing that we need to know is, this is the sentiment that we need to have while performing puja, the pure sentiment. If there is no such sentiment, no such faith, then there is no qualification for puja. So, I mean, like, there are many stories that Gurudev said, which are like true, that we can realize from the stories, like, how we need to be, how we need to do our sadhana, and what sentiment we need to have. So I think we'll stop here. And I thought, like, I could finish the essence of Bhagavad Gita, so maybe I would need one more class and then we'll finish it. And if anyone has any questions, I can answer for you. Otherwise, let me know. Okay, so we'll meet next week, and hopefully we'll be able to
Hare Krishna,
finish.
mother.
Oh, Hare Krishna, Hari Priya, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So I have a question.
Yes, Hari Priya.
Okay. If just like you explained, Lord Krishna takes care of his devotee who has fully surrendered unto him.
Yes.
Does that mean we are to fully surrender unto Krishna and not make any maybe personal efforts towards our own sustenance? Like fully surrender. For example, you go to the temple, you decide to stay in the mandil, do your service 247, just dedicate your life completely to Krishna. Is he still going to take care of us even if we don't by ourselves put in any effort to maybe try to get something done one way or the other?
So Gurudev and Guruji always say, like, do whatever you could for your sustenance without any attachment, and then leave everything to Krishna, not like, trying to get whatever you could do, at the same time keeping Krishna as center of your of your goal. Do whatever for your bare sustenance. But if you keep everything, not doing anything, and then Krishna will take care of me, is not the way that we should be doing. But what, like the Brahmana, he was going, begging alms, like, whatever he could do for his sustenance, and then completely surrendering to him. And like also like the sentiment what we got, like the other story what I said about the Brahmana who was determined to do the puja or archana no matter what, because he was doing his his effort. He was putting his effort, because even on that stormy night, for example, he was going, even though it is all like Bhagwan's mercy, and this is all because of, like, the rain or whatever is happening, the Adi Bhautika. Still, he was determined to do, because he's putting his effort to do everything in order to get to that seva of what he has to do for his salagram at like that 4 o'clock. Similarly, the Brahmana who was like begging alms, he was doing his part, but he was at the same time completely devoted to Krishna, doing everything for Krishna, and just bare minimum he was sustaining, but he was doing his part. So I don't know if this answered your question, but I think we should strive to get this bhava, at the same time doing our part to help our sustenance, not depending on somebody else. But definitely help will come if there is something that you cannot do it and you cannot get it and you need it and you're completely surrendered to Krishna. Someone in some form, the help will come. So not sure if I have answered this question, but again, I can take this question to Guruji, and then maybe he can answer it in a better way. Hare Krishna, Hari Priya. Okay, I think we will.
Hare Krishna, mother.
Yeah,
It's
Hare
clearly
Krishna.
understood.
Sorry?
I said it's clearly understood. Your answer and the illustrations are okay. It's very clear.
Okay, thank you. But again,
Thank you very much.
I will ask this question to Guruji so that he can explain it, because maybe I there is no way I can explain whatever I have a tiny bit. By mercy of Guruji, I can answer to you, but definitely I think we'll take this to Guruji so that he can explain it well. So think we'll conclude here. Vancha kalpa tarupyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Hare Krishna. Thank you for attending.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Dandavat Pranam, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Dandavat pranams, Mataji.
Thank you.
Thank you.